Ethan was an average guy, working a boring office job, living in a small apartment, and stuck in the monotony of routine. His life was predictable, and he liked it that way. But everything changed one evening when his phone buzzed with a voicemail notification. He frowned. He never got voicemails anymore. Everyone just texted. Curious, he opened it. The message began with heavy breathing, followed by a familiar voice, his own. "Ethan, listen to me. You're in danger. Tomorrow at 8:15 p.m., don't go outside. Stay home. No matter what happens, don't answer the door." Chills ran down his spine. Was this a prank? Someone impersonating him? He replayed the message several times, and the voice was unmistakable. It sounded exactly like him, but strained and panicked. He checked the timestamp. It was dated for the following day. Confused, Ethan brushed it off as some weird glitch. He decided not to think about it too much and went to bed. But as he lay in the dark, unease crept over him. What if it wasn't a prank? The next day passed uneventfully, but the message lingered in his mind. By the time 8:15 p.m. rolled around, he found himself nervously pacing his apartment. Against his better judgment, he stayed inside, locking the doors and windows. Then, at precisely 8:15 p.m., there was a knock at the door. Ethan froze. His heart raced as the knock came again, louder this time. "Ethan, it's me, man, open up." It was his best friend, Kyle. Ethan hesitated, the voicemail ringing in his ears. Something didn't feel right. Kyle was supposed to be out of town visiting family. "Why are you here?" Ethan called out, trying to steady his voice. "I got back early. Come on, let me in," Kyle replied. Ethan's gut told him to stay put. He didn't answer. The knocking stopped, and silence fell. After a few minutes, Ethan peeked through the peephole. No one was there. The next day, he tried to rationalize what had happened. Maybe he was overreacting. Maybe Kyle had come back early and left when Ethan didn't answer. Still, the voicemail haunted him. That evening, his phone buzzed again. Another voicemail. This one was more frantic. "Ethan, it's me again. You have to listen. Tomorrow at 9:30 p.m., don't take the elevator. Use the stairs. I can't explain why, but you have to trust me. Please." The message ended abruptly. Like the first one, it was dated for the following day. Ethan's hands shook as he replayed the message. It was undeniably his voice, and the panic was real. The next day, Ethan decided to test the warning. At 9:30 p.m., he stood in front of his building's elevator, watching the numbers tick down as it descended to his floor. He was determined to prove it was all in his head. The elevator doors opened. Empty. He hesitated, then stepped inside. As the doors began to close, a shadow flickered in the hallway mirror, making him jump. He whipped around, but no one was there. The elevator jerked violently as it descended, throwing him against the wall. The lights flickered, and the air grew stifling. Then the elevator stopped, mid-floor. "Help!" he shouted, pounding on the doors. The lights went out completely, plunging him into darkness. For what felt like hours, he was trapped in the suffocating black, hearing faint whispers echoing around him. When the doors finally opened, he stumbled out, shaken and drenched in sweat. From that point on, he obeyed every voicemail. For weeks, the warnings continued, growing stranger and more urgent. "Don't answer the phone at midnight. Throw out the red sweater in your closet. Avoid the 24-hour diner on 5th Street." Each time, Ethan complied, and each time, he felt as though he narrowly avoided some unseen danger. Then one night, he received the most terrifying message yet. "Ethan, this is it. Tomorrow at 11:45 p.m., you'll get a knock at the window. Do not look, do not open it, no matter what you hear, stay away. If you fail, there's nothing more I can do for you. The message ended with a sharp, distorted noise that made his stomach churn. When the time came, Ethan sat in his living room, gripping a baseball bat. His apartment was on the 5th floor. There was no way anyone could knock on his window. But at exactly 11:45 p.m., there it was. A soft, deliberate knock. He froze, the bat slipping from his hands. The knock came again, louder this time. And then, a voice, his voice. "Ethan, it's me, let me in, please." Tears streamed down his face as he backed away from the window. The knocking grew more frantic, the voice more desperate. "Ethan, you don't understand, you have to let me in." He pressed his hands over his ears, trying to block out the sound, but the knocking and shouting didn't stop. It felt as though the entire apartment was shaking. And then, suddenly, it stopped. The silence was deafening. Slowly, he opened his eyes and looked toward the window. Nothing. He thought he was safe, until his phone buzzed with another voicemail. He didn't want to listen but couldn't resist. The message was only 2 words. "You failed." The next morning, Ethan was gone. His apartment was untouched, no signs of a struggle, but his phone sat on the coffee table, buzzing with new voicemails. No one dared to play them.